This story is set during the time Korea is fighting for independence from Japan. In this war, we are shown a general orders his troops to quickly evacuate a hospital in Japan. A secret experiment is going on here. Right after, during a meeting with the lieutenant, he says the experiment happening here must remain a secret. Whatever we can take related to the experiment, we will take it to Korea and prepare to destroy everything else. After this order, many soldiers are shown wearing safety suits, fixing the corpses. In addition, prisoners in the hospital are shot and killed, and some soldiers started bombing here to destroy this hospital. When the lieutenant comes to the lab and asks the doctor what is present here, the doctor says we have 12 serums and 8 nodules. The nodules were so small that they could not be seen in the water. What is the work of these serums and nodules? We will find out later. But here is another strange thing. We notice that someone was beating a door behind the lab. No human being could do this with so much power. The lieutenant sees that door from far and leaves from there. After everyone left this hospital, it was destroyed. In the destruction, a burning monster is also shown to us. The scene cuts. We are shown the scene of Korea after a few years, where the main characters of this story, Chae-ok and his dad, have come to the city. The scene cuts. Here a commissioner is torturing a man. This is Tae-sang, the richest man in this city. He has a shop where people sell their valuables. From this stuff, Tae-sang also gifted an expensive t-shirt to the commissioner's wife, Lady Maida. Because of this, the commissioner was doubting both of them, that if they are friends. The commissioner's wife, Lady Maida, belonged to the Japanese royal family. The commissioner could not ask her anything, so he was torturing Tae-sang. He says to the commissioner, "Why do you think Lady Maida likes me? Just think, if she will find out that you are doubting her, how bad will she feel? And I also know that this is not the real reason for which you are torturing me. Tell me, what do you want?" The commissioner shows Tae-sang his girlfriend's picture and says she has been missing for the past 2 weeks. Where is she? With whom is she? Find out. You only have time to change the weather. If you don't do this, then I will snatch all your wealth from you in such a way that you won't even know. Tae-sang, who had achieved everything himself, who thought that no one could harm him, today he was very scared of all these things. When he comes home, he talks to his assistant, Mrs. Nowell, about selling his property, because now he thought that his game was ending. He tells his people that the commissioner has given him the task of finding his girlfriend who is missing, don't know where she must have gone. Hearing this, his manager is scared and advises him to sell everything from here and run away. But the people of the commissioner were keeping an eye on him. He could not do that. He tells his manager to get the girl's address from the informants. Here, Chae-ok and his dad came to the city to find a Japanese painter, about whom they find out that the Japanese man of this name is not a painter in this city, but he does work for the people of the army. The scene cuts, and we are shown the scene of the hospital, where the officer takes 2 women out of a jail and locks them in a separate jail. There was food in front of them. Maybe these women were hungry for a long time, who started eating this food without thinking. There was also water in front of them, which they drink, without knowing that there is something mixed in that water. The same small creature, Najin, and that serum, which they had brought from the hospital in Japan. Here, the police officer of the commissioner, who was keeping an eye on Tae-sang, he brings him to a hotel by making him his driver, and he tells him that you become my driver, you will not have to spy on me like this. Your work will be easy. After getting down to the hotel, he gives him some money to eat, and he comes out from the other door of the hotel. He knew that someone else was following him, and this was Chae-ok, on whom he points a gun. He asks her, "Who are you working for? What have you come here to do? Do you want to kill me?" This fight begins between the two. When Tae-sang pushes Chae-ok, her hair comes out when her cap removes with a snap. She was so beautiful that Tae-sang keeps on looking at her and also puts the gun down from Chae-ok. Chae-ok says, "I have come here to find a Japanese painter." Because Tae-sang liked Chae-ok, he decides to help her find his mother and painter. He went back to a hotel where he meets his friend Yoon Chae-ok. Tae-sang asks him about the missing girlfriend of the commissioner. Jun-tak replies, "Why do you think that woman has any connection with me? Or do I have a hand in her disappearance?" "Yes, but I know very well that the commissioner is now after you. He could have found his girlfriend himself, but he involved you inside because he is after your wealth, and it is better to invest this money on the freedom of Korea than to give your money to him." This is when a fight breaks out between the two, and Tae-sang comes out of the hotel. We see the lieutenant again in the scene of the hospital. It is being told that the effect has begun to be seen on subject 1. This is the same woman who was given najin mixed in water, and now she was suffering like crazy. Assistant Nawol had called 2 spies at home, about whom it was famous that they can also find out about a dead person. When Tae-sang meets him, he was Chae-ok and her dad. Tae-sang asks a lot of questions as an interview, on which Chae-ok says, "If you don't trust me, then give this work to someone else." She was about to leave from here when her dad stopped her and tells Tae-sang that we have solved 200 cases in 10 years. "You should trust me now," but Chae-ok didn't want to work with Tae-sang anymore. On which Tae-sang says you have to find a Japanese painter, and to find Japanese people, you will not find anyone better than me. My reach is far above, you don't even know me right now. Tae-sang says, "Okay, if that's the case, then why haven't you found the commissioner's girlfriend yet?" In this scene, we are shown the same painter named Sachimoto, whom Chae-ok wants to find. He has been ordered to draw the things inside the jail in this hospital. As he turns on the torch and reflect it into the jail, a strange creature suddenly attacks him. The scene cuts, and we are shown the scene when Sachimoto came to this hospital for the first time in the case of job. He was given the job of keeping the hospital record and drawing, but it was getting very difficult for him to see the things he had to draw. Doctors used to kill people for their experiments with great pain. The scenes shift back to the present, where the creature was trying to kill him with its big hand, but he gets away from the hand. Here Chae-ok was also trying to solve Tae-sang's case. She spies on the commissioner's house to find out about the commissioner's girlfriend, and sees that a boy was taking the secret message of the commissioner's wife somewhere else, which Chae-ok catches. The next day, Assistant Nawol tells Tae-sang that Chae-ok and her dad have found out some important things about the commissioner's girlfriend. When Tae-sang meets him, Chae-ok tells him that we have found out about the rickshaw, in which the commissioner's girlfriend was seen for the last time. Tae-sang was also surprised that how did she find out about all this mystery so soon? So Chae-ok says, "You said that maybe she is dead, so then we thought that who can kill her?" Now she was the commissioner's girlfriend, so who could be her bigger enemy than the commissioner's wife? That's why we kept an eye on the commissioner's house and his wife, and we have found out all this information from one of his men. The last time she was taken from the house of the commissioner's wife and dropped at Gyeongseong Hospital. The manager says, "How can this be? Only Japanese people can go there and a normal girl going there?" Chae-ok says. In response, this will be found out only after going to the hospital. What is she doing there? Tae-sang says, "I know a lot of people who can help us go to that hospital." Tae-sang now takes some money out of his locker and gives it to his friend Jun Tae, who was one of those 4 men who was allowed to go to Gyeongseong Hospital. He says, "You can use this money as you wish, but in return, I need your ID card." After getting the ID card, Chae-ok and his dad wear clothes like rich people and go to Gyeongseong Hospital in a luxury car. He lied to the guards by showing Jun Tae's ID card that the girl sitting behind is Jun Tae's fiancée. In the same way, entry is also obtained in the hospital, and the commissioner also knows about that Tae-sang has gone to Gyeongseong Hospital with 3 people. In the hospital, when Tae-sang asks about a doctor from the reception, a manager starts doing a stomachache drama according to the plan behind. There is chaos here, and Chae-ok and her dad go to their work, avoiding everyone's eyes. They wanted to go to the recording room and find out about the admitted people here. The bad thing was that a man who worked here had seen Chae-ok. In the conversation, it is found that man is still fighting for the freedom of Korea. He now helps them, and they leave from here. After leaving their recording room, the manager also stops his pain drama, and when they were about to leave the hospital, They suddenly hear a gunshot in the hospital. Some people think that there is an army training in front and the bullets are going there, but Tae-sang's manager thought that the bullet went inside the hospital. And indeed, the bullet went inside the hospital lab. Soldiers shot at that strange creature, which they had turned into a human monster. While giving the serum and the small creature, Najin, about whom I have told at the beginning of the story, this monster, this creature, had gone too crazy. She catches an injured soldier and kills him. All the soldiers standing here are now waiting for the order of the lieutenant. What should be done with this dangerous creature? But the lieutenant says no one will shoot that creature because this experiment was very important for him. During these conversations, when a soldier accidentally shoots a bullet, this creature grabs him and puts his tentacles in his body and kills him. Seeing this, the lieutenant was very happy because his experiment was successful. He wanted to make such a dangerous creature so that his army becomes strong. We are shown to Chae-ok and her dad in the hospital, who are telling Tae-sang that they have to stay in this hospital for one night. Tae-sang asks, "What are you going to do?" Chae-ok tells that there is a military ward in the basement of this hospital. It is a kind of lab where some experiments are going on. These experiments are done on the innocent people of Korea, and the people who come here never go back. I think the commissioner's girlfriend will also be there. The man who helped Chae-ok before also says my brother also came to this hospital many years ago, and he has never been seen again. I have also come here to find him. After this, Tae-sang and his manager also leave the room, but unfortunately, he is seen by a doctor here. Before they were caught, a nurse came and told this doctor that these two doctors are Takahashi's patients. That's why they are standing here, thankfully. This nurse saved them. She tells them to get out of this hospital as soon as possible. All the visitors who came today are being taken out of the hospital in an emergency. This nurse was helping them because she was Korean. In the lab below, that creature had gone crazy. And now the left-hand soldier is told to prepare for level 4 and bring nitrogen here. The soldier pours nitrogen gas into the creature's jail in the lab, which makes it unconscious, and after that, it is kept in a container and taken out of here. Chae-ok sees that there are signs of no entry in the hospital, and the hospital is closed. This creature, which was now unconscious from nitrogen and kept in a container, had strange spores coming out of its body. As soon as it touches someone's body, its body becomes severely infected and injured. All the prisoners in this jail get infected in a few minutes and scream in pain. In a little while, all these people die. Chae-ok and his dad were keeping an eye on everything from the roof of the hospital. They see that the dead people are being taken out of there as soon as possible, and the soldiers are also preparing to leave this base. In the morning, this news spreads throughout the city that Gyeongseong Hospital is being closed because a disease has spread there. Because of this, many people have died. This news reaches Tae-sang, who was already very worried about Chae-ok. He wanted to go to the hospital and save her, but then the nurse who had helped Tae-sang in the hospital comes here. She sends a message to Tae-sang that the commissioner's girlfriend has been found. The nurse's condition was very bad. The hospital has been evacuated, and no one knows what the people in the hospital are doing. I don't know if he's alive or dead. This nurse was also fighting for the freedom of Korea, and her seniors too, who went inside to find out what was going on in the hospital, but they didn't come back. She says to Tae-sang that something is going on in the hospital, and it is necessary to find out about it. The scene cuts, and now we are shown the lieutenant, who is asking a wounded soldier how the creature of the monster looks like. Hearing this, the soldier gets scared, and now in front of his eyes was the scene of a few hours ago, when they were closing the creature in a container and taking it somewhere by lift. The door of the creature's container gets stuck in the lift. Because of this, the nitrogen gas filled in the container starts to come out. The creature wakes up in the lift itself, and it kills all the soldiers mercilessly. The lieutenant, who later found out that the nitrogen gas in the container was leaking, he deliberately did not tell this to his soldiers. He wanted to see how the creature would react. 2 soldiers were still left in the lift. One soldier tells the other to close the door quickly, but even closing the door was making a noise. In this way, the creature catches a soldier and kills him, and in the meantime, the other soldier closes the door. He is the same soldier who is talking to the lieutenant and telling him about the creature that we have made a monster together. Kill it or we will all be finished. In this scene, we are shown a creature that is pulling out bullets from its body. Tae-sang met Lady Maida, the wife of the commissioner who belonged to the Japanese royal family. She had a good relationship with Gyeongseong Hospital. He says to her that some of my friends are trapped there. I need your help. Lady Maida says, if you are looking for the commissioner's girlfriend, then forget her. You will never find her now. After hearing this, Tae-sang gets UAL and decides to go to the hospital. The manager says this is your wrong decision. It is possible that the spy, Chae-ok, is lying to you, that the commissioner's girlfriend has been found so that you can come there to save her. At which Tae-sang says, I have just met Lady Maida, and she has also told me that the commissioner's girlfriend is in the same hospital. Here in the hospital's record room, Chae-ok, her dad and the cleaner, when they are planning something, a soldier comes behind them. These people also put a gun on him, but it turns out that this soldier is definitely Japanese, but he is doing it for the good of Korea, and he also tells them to help him. Here in Tae-sang's shop, a woman has brought her sewing machine. She does not want to take money in return. She asks Nawal that in return for this machine, Tae-sang should find her son, who had gone to fight, but has no news of him yet. We find out that the boy we just saw in the hospital was the son of the same woman, who tells everyone that when I went to Japan during the war, there I saw that these people had destroyed an entire hospital, and a monster was also burning in that destruction. Here in this hospital, Japanese soldiers also experiment on innocent Koreans, and maybe the people you are looking for are also here. The scene cuts, and we are shown the same lab scene in the hospital, where finally we were seeing the commissioner's girlfriend in a small jail. A soldier comes and tells her not to touch anything here, otherwise you will get infected. This girl also wanted the commissioner to find her, but no one had come to find her yet. Here it is shown that a senior doctor has come to the room of Sachimoto, who looks at the picture of the monster and asks, "What have you made?" He says, "What I saw in the jail." Now the doctor meets the lieutenant and tells him that after the sacrifice of so many people, after so much hard work, what will we get? Tokyo is also attacked in Japan. We are losing the war. Using this creature, we can change the side of the war. But why are we not doing this yet? The lieutenant replies that this creature is right under my feet, which we have not been able to control yet. On the other hand, that little soldier shows the map of the lab and tells where he saw the commissioner's girlfriend in the lab. Now through a vent, she finally reaches the lab in the basement. Reaching there, she gets shocked. There were human faces in the containers, small children, and God knows what. Many women and children were also imprisoned in the jail. On the other hand, it is shown that some of Tae-sang's enemies had beaten him. He was injured, but he was still insisting on going to the hospital. Here, a woman brings him to Sachimoto, the painter who worked in the Gyeongseong hospital. These two meet again, and then we are shown in the next scene that Sachimoto had come to the hospital gate with a rickshaw. He tells the people of the hospital that the stuff I have has been ordered by the doctor. In this way, the hospital door is opened for them. Here in the lab, the prisoner Chae-ok helps the children, takes them out of the jail, and puts the children in the same vent from which they came here so that the children can run away from here. Meanwhile, a doctor had also come here, who could not see Chae-ok here, but sees the vent open. There were human faces in the containers, small children, and God knows what. Many women and children were also imprisoned in the jail. On the other hand, it is shown that some of Tae-sang's enemies had beaten him. He was injured, but he was still insisting on going to the hospital. Here, a woman brings him to Sachimoto, the painter who worked in the Gyeongseong hospital. These two meet again, and then we are shown in the next scene that Sachimoto had come to the hospital gate with a rickshaw. He tells the people of the hospital that the stuff I have has been ordered by the doctor. In this way, the hospital door is opened for them. Here in the lab, the prisoner Chae-ok helps the children, takes them out of the jail, and puts the children in the same vent from which they came here, so that the children can run away from here. Meanwhile, a doctor had also come here, who could not see Chae-ok here, but sees the vent open. Before he could complain, Chae-ok holds him and cuts his throat. It is shown that the rickshaw that Sachimoto had brought here did not have luggage in it, but Tae-sang and his friend Jang Tae-sang. The two inside the hospital come to the recording room where Chae-ok was going to meet him, but on the other hand, Chae-ok had to get the children out of the hospital. The way to the vent was open on the roof. Chae-ok's dad was waiting for her there. Chae-ok knocks on the door of the vent, but some soldiers had also come here. The soldiers hear this voice. Before they catch Chae-ok and the children, his dad comes in front of them. Meanwhile, some firecrackers explode in the sky, after seeing which Chae-ok's dad starts killing all the soldiers. Because this firecracker was a kind of signal from Tae-sang that he has come here to help them. Before a soldier kills Chae-ok's dad, Tae-sang comes and kills him with his bullet. Tae-sang asks him where is the commissioner's girlfriend. Chae-ok says, I will find them. First you get these children out. They all come back to the recording room, where along with Juntak, Sachimoto was also present, whom Chae-ok was looking for. When Chae-ok asks about this man, Tae-sang doesn't tell her the truth and says he only works here in this hospital. One of them, a big girl, shows her hand to everyone and tells that she is given some injections every day, and small children are also tortured in strange ways. Many children have died. After listening to them, Tae-sang thinks that the commissioner's girlfriend must also be undergoing such illegal experiments. He goes ahead to save her and tells Chae-ok that you take care of these children. On the other hand, the soldiers had also reached the lab, where Chae-ok had killed a doctor. Seeing the dead doctor and missing children, the soldiers think that the children must have run away after killing the doctor. The whole hospital becomes chaotic again. Everyone starts looking for the children anyway. Now these people hide the children in a box and plan to get them out of the hospital. But while going out of the hospital, a girl is scared to see something and screams loudly. Their plan failed because the soldiers had heard the child's voice, so they were searching everywhere. Chae-ok and Tae-sang were in Sachimoto's room, where they get scared seeing strange pictures. These were pictures of monsters. Sachimoto tells them that by experimenting on humans, they have been turned into monsters. Here, Chae-ok also finds out about Sachimoto, that he is the same painter that she is looking for. She shows Sachimoto a picture of her mom that she had made and asks, "Where did you see her last time?" The scene cuts. We are shown that an experiment is being done on the monster. The doctor is trying to control it by ringing the bell, and some people are brought in front of it to eat it. This time, when the bell rings, the creature comes out and starts eating people, and the doctor, seeing this creature, tells Lieutenant that we will have to make more creatures like this so that we can win this war well. Here Sachimoto, after thinking a lot, tells Chae-ok that I don't know this woman. Listening to this, Chae-ok's hopes are broken. Sachimoto was her last hope that he might know about his mom. Anyway, now these people do the job of saving the kids. Tae-sang makes an elder kid the leader of all this. He gives him his clothes and asks him to ride a rickshaw to get out of the hospital. On the other hand, the soldier who heard the scream of a girl comes and takes all the soldiers to Sachimoto's room, where they did not find anyone. The soldiers now apologize to Sachimoto for the doubt, while the children had left the hospital while riding a rickshaw. The soldiers did not stop them by thinking that if the rickshaw is going out of the hospital, then there will be no danger. The children reach Tae-sang's house and give Tae-sang's letter to the manager. They understood that these children have come from the hospital. In the middle of the night, Lady Maida arrives at Gyeongseong Hospital to meet the doctor. The doctor asks, "Why are you here at this time?" Lady Maida says Tae-sang is in the hospital now. These people were still in the record room. Tonight, they decided to stay here. 3 hours were left in the morning, and within 3 hours, they wanted to complete their mission and leave. They wanted to save Yoon Chae, the commissioner's girlfriend, and the people trapped here. The man who was always helping them tells them that my shift is over now. If anyone sees me here, the danger will increase for you. I am leaving. But yes, if you reach the jail, do check my brother. He tells them his name, age, and getup. Tae-sang tells Chae-ok and Chae-ok's dad to leave the hospital. Your job was just to find out where the commissioner's girlfriend is, and you have done that job. Chae-ok says you have found painter Sachimoto for us, so now we will help you. They wanted to return to the lab through the vent, but the vent was now surrounded by soldiers, whom Tae-sang killed with a sword, but a few soldiers had seen from the other watchtower that someone is on the roof with a sword. A security alarm is sounded when the dead soldiers are seen on the roof. A highlighter is placed, but Tae-sang was now shocked to see the heads of the dead people and the small children in these jars. Lady Maida told the doctor that the woman I sent to this hospital should not be harmed until her child is born. At the behest of Lady Maida, this girl is put in another jail, and she is told that until your child is born, you will not be harmed. On the other side, we were seeing the creature who had found a lever to open his jail. This new creature had now opened, and he had killed a soldier. Everyone hears this voice. Seeing such circumstances, doctors tell everyone that there is someone here who is giving the news outside, because he didn't want everyone to be alive except Yoon Chae-ok and his girlfriend. Tae-sang's manager already knew this. That's why he drives the truck speedily, and to see the truck, the lady in the bar points to a man. As she points, many rickshaws go ahead of the commissioner's truck. The commissioner's truck gets stuck, while the manager took the truck ahead. After a while, when the commissioner's people catch the manager's truck, no one is found from it, and the manager tells that there was no one in this truck except for Yoon Chae-ok and his girlfriend, while it is shown that all the people in the truck had gotten off at the ladies' bar. The assistant Nawal meets them and asks them to leave this city as soon as possible. The lady outside the bar was celebrating the release of these people from the Japanese captivity. Here, Lady Maida gets the news that today the commissioner will come home late. While on the other side, we are shown a scene of the hospital. The lieutenant is worried because they had mixed serum and najin in a glass of water, which was empty here. The soldier tells them that only 4 people have come here. Chae-ok, Tae-sang, the commissioner's girlfriend and a soldier, meant that one of these 4 had drunk that water. No one knew who was going to turn into a monster. Lady Maida calls the hospital's doctor in charge and gets angry at him and says, "I gave you whatever you wanted. Such a big hospital, money for the experiment, but you couldn't do a single thing." The doctor apologizes to her, but Lady Maida says you should resign now. The doctor quickly shows her a report in which there were pictures of the monster. Seeing this, Lady Maida is silent for now, while on the other side, in the hospital, that monster was being tried to make unconscious by the nitrogen gas. And the lieutenant was in this thought that who will turn into a monster, and what destruction will be spread, and how will it be controlled. These people have run away from the hospital, and everyone will know their reality. It is shown that Tae-sang has also regained consciousness, and he is trying to leave from here. He is soaked in blood, and wherever he is touching his blood-stained hands, that place is getting dark, and this is not normal at all. The woman who had brought a sewing machine to Tae-sang's shop to find out about her son is returned a badge with her sewing machine, which she sees and understands that her son is dead. Here the scene cuts, and we are shown the commissioner's girlfriend. And a strange thing is moving in her face. This is Najin. The one who had taken serum and Najin water from the lieutenant's office was her. Chae-ok and Tae-sang were investigated separately. And here a soldier tells Tae-sang that if you want to escape from here, then you have to buy me a house and a shop. I know you can do it, and I am not saving you just once. I have saved you before I have seen you in the room of Sachimoto, but I did not tell the soldiers, because I want to save you. Now Tae-sang says, first tell me where the commissioner's girlfriend is kept, and how experiments are being done here, and have the people here made that monster? If you do not answer all these questions, I will not do what you are saying. After this, Tae-sang is again locked up. In the scene outside the hospital, we see that the weather has changed. Tae-sang has run out of time, Tae-sang's manager and assistant are impatiently waiting for him, but there is no sign of him. Here inside the hospital, the doctor calls Dr. Jun Taek's father and tell him that your son has crossed the line. First of all, he is with the Japanese, and secondly, he has entered the hospital Gyeongseong illegally. If anything goes wrong, then whatever you have in your hands will go. On the other hand, Jun Taek was being threatened and interrogated. They tell him that we are very cruel. We do not think of killing anyone. This is a paper in front of you. Write the names of those people who have come with you to this hospital. Otherwise, there will be your cut body on the front table. When he looks at the dead people in front of him, he also sees a face with a black mark under his ear about whom the cleaner told him. Means the cleaner's brother was experimented, and he died. He did not want such a death, so he forcibly writes the names of everyone who come with him to this hospital. The prisoners present here were surprised to see Tae-sang in this jail, that what a rich man is doing in this jail. And Tae-sang tells everyone that he came to save a woman and got trapped. Then we find out that Tae-sang had already made a deal with a soldier, according to which he gives Tae-sang's news to his assistant and then releases Tae-sang. On the other hand, the lieutenant brings Chae-ok to his office and asks, "Why have you come here?" Chae-ok says, "I have come here to find my mother who has been missing for 10 years. Know that the Japanese army is doing strange experiments in this hospital, and the monster I have seen is also made by you." He looks at her carefully and says, "Have I met you before? Your eyes look very familiar." When he asks his mother's name, he understands that the woman turned into a monster is Chae-ok's mother. Without telling the truth, he asks, "When you saw the monster, what did you feel?" Chae-ok says, "I was just scared." Here the lieutenant gives her water to drink, in which something was mixed, and Chae-ok did not know. Tae-sang was also seeing all this, and he was released from the jail. The lieutenant now asks to lock Chae-ok in the same jail where her mother was imprisoned, and tells everyone not to touch her. Now, the soldier who was always with Chae-ok, he locked her in jail. Before locking her, he gave her a blade. Chae-ok reads her mother's writing on the wall. "I miss you, Chae-ok." And seeing this, she started crying and understood that her mother was here, and maybe she is dead. Tae-sang kills all the soldiers and opens Chae-ok's jail. She tells Tae-sang that her mother was imprisoned here and says, "I don't know if she is dead, but she might be here." Chae-ok wants to find her mother at any cost. Tae-sang tells her that there are a lot of Japanese soldiers everywhere, and if that monster comes in front of you, then what will you do? Chae-ok takes a gun and reaches the lieutenant's room. She asks the lieutenant while pointing a gun, "Tell me, where is my mother?" The scene cuts, and we're shown that many of the prisoners had been released from the jail who were trying to escape from here, but the soldier sees them and kills some of them. But before they harm others, Tae-sang comes with a gun and asks everyone to hide in a room. When the soldiers were about to attack him, he shoots them, but a soldier was still alive. Before he kills Tae-sang, a monster comes and kills him. Before the creature kills the people, a nitrogen gas cylinder falls, and Tae-sang shoots it. Due to it, nitrogen gas spreads everywhere, and the creature becomes unconscious. On the other hand, the lieutenant was telling a story to the Chae-ok. He says there is a monster inside every human, and this small creature, Najin, wakes up the monster inside the human and mutates his body. And this way, a human turns into a monster, and the monster you saw, the one you were afraid of, is none other than your mother. Here, Jun Taek's father meets the commissioner and asks him to find out the wrong activities happening in the hospital. But the commissioner says the hospital does not belong to his area. And Jun Taek's father tells him that Tae-sang has taken Jun Taek to the hospital to find your girlfriend. "I just want my son to be safe." Here Tae-sang was getting angry at the people who came out of the jail and says, "When I told you that I will definitely come to save you, then why did you come out? This man says you do not even do any work for our country, so how can I believe you?" Here Tae-sang gets angry at him and says all the people who have died here by the soldiers, you are responsible for all this. During this, he meets Chae-ok's father, seeing whom he becomes very happy, and hugs him. Chae-ok's dad tells him that I am looking for Chae-ok. Tae-sang says, "You do not worry. Take all these people to another ward. I will find and bring her." While Chae-ok was fighting with the lieutenant, she says, "How can this happen?" The lieutenant says in anger, "Drink this water, and when you become a monster, then believe me." As soon as he hears this, she kicks the lieutenant, drops him down, pulls out his gun and hangs it on him and says, "How we can make that monster fine." But even he did not know. Chae-ok now puts a soldier's uniform and takes the lieutenant on gunpoint and says, "Take me to that monster. I have to stop him at any cost." While on the other hand, the doctor gets the news that the general has found out that his creature is roaming freely. Because of this, all their jobs were in danger. Here some soldiers come in front of the lieutenant and say, "We are waiting for your order, that if that monster does not get faint with nitrogen, then we have to end it." The lieutenant says, "There is only one way to kill the creature, that is to burn it." Outside the hospital, there was a rumor that the task to find the commissioner's girlfriend has started, and this news reaches Lady Maida. On the other hand, the commissioner reaches the hospital and says to the in-charge doctor, "We have received the news that many women are disappearing from here, and the hospital is behind it. We will have to search this hospital." The doctor says there is some disease due to which this hospital is closed. The commissioner says, "No problem. We will go inside in a safety suit. If you are still alive while staying in this hospital, then nothing will happen to us." The commissioner had also brought a security van here, whose driver was none other than Tae-sang's manager. That means these people came here under a plan to save the trapped people. Now Chae-ok is brought in front of the monster while being tied to the chains, and above, all the soldiers with the lieutenant are waiting to see what this monster will do with their daughter. There was also a small soldier who was always helping Chae-ok. He sees Tae-sang near this room and understands that he has come to find Chae-ok. To give him a signal, he asks the lieutenant, "What will the monster do with this girl?" Upon which all the soldiers tell him to be quiet. This monster, who was also angry and was about to attack Chae-ok, but then Chae-ok says, "Top mom." As she heard her voice, she remembered something in the flashback of herself and her daughter. That is, the monster had recognized her daughter and doesn't say anything to her. And after seeing this reaction of the monster, the lieutenant gives the order to kill the monster. Bullets were fired from all sides, which could hit Chae-ok, but the monster eats all the bullets and saves her daughter. After which, nitrogen gas is spilled in this area. This monster breaks Chae-ok's chains and releases her and throws him away, while Chae-ok was very sad to see her mom, means that monster in pain. Tae-sang, who found out about Chae-ok's presence, he takes her away. She tells Tae-sang while weeping that monster is her mom, which Tae-sang was shocked to hear. All this happened because of Japanese experiments. The scene cuts, and we are shown Yoon Chae-ok, who has written the names of all the people who had come here with him in a paper. To find these names, the soldiers starts running in the whole hospital. When they do not find Tae-sang and Chae-ok anywhere, they find two soldiers whose clothes were undone. Here, the ward where all the prisoners were hiding, suddenly some soldiers come whom Chae-ok's dad was about to kill. But it turns out that this is Chae-ok and Tae-sang. In the meantime, the soldier who had made a deal with Tae sang that he would find the commissioner's girlfriend, and he had found her. After that, the scene cuts from here, and we see that Chae-ok is seeing all the dead soldiers in this hospital. She calls her mom and asks her, "What did you do?" Before that monster comes in front of her, the wounded Tae-sang comes in front of her, whose back had strange tentacles coming out, and his face was also strange. As the monster was formed, he attacked Chae-ok. After this, Chae-ok's eyes open, and we come to know that it is just Chae-ok's dream. While on the other side, Tae-sang was lying on the skeletons of the dead. To understand what is happening, we go back to the same story in which Tae-sang and Chae-ok have come to save all the prisoners wearing soldiers' clothes. At 6 o'clock, they had to leave from here, and the security was tightened. Here, in the hospital, a rope is made with the help of clothes, and one by one the prisoners are sent down. Where in the commissioner's security van, Tae-sang's manager was waiting. They all get down. When Tae-sang tells Chae-ok that now it's your turn to get down, Chae-ok says, "No, you get down. I can take care of myself." Meanwhile, a soldier comes here who had seen everyone running from here, and everyone hears the sound of a bullet because the small soldier who was helping them had shot the other soldier. After hearing the sound, everyone started coming to this floor. They make a fence with a lot of things in the corridor leading to the prisoners and start keeping an eye on them. A small fight starts between the soldiers and these people. Both teams start firing at each other. While here, the commissioner asks the doctor in charge of this hospital, "What is going on?" To which the doctor says, "If you really want to know what is going on here, then you will have to take the permission of the Governor General, or you can go and ask Lady Maida." Yes, that's the only thing he tells, that whoever is brought here is not released alive from here. Chae-ok, Tae-sang, and the soldier were fighting, and during this, Tae-sang shot a bullet and becomes injured. Meanwhile, the small soldier dies from the bullet. Before dying, he gives his badge to Chae-ok. Chae-ok says, "Don't die. Have courage. Your mom is waiting for you, but now it's too late." Meanwhile, a man comes and tells that everyone has sat in the van, and you two are left. Hearing this, Chae-ok goes down, and Tae-sang tells one of us has to stay up and distract the soldiers. Before the soldiers catch Tae-sang and kill him, they get the order from the doctor not to kill them. Tae-sang's manager was sad because he had saved a lot of people, but his boss didn't come. But Assistant Nawal had given him the order that you have to leave on time, even if the boss stays there. He left, while on the other side, it is shown that Tae-sang is fighting alone with all the soldiers, and to save himself now he has climbed on the vent and to catch him. Soldiers climb all around the vent, but he jumps from the vent to a room to save himself where dead people's skeletons were lying. The truck that had come to the city, Yoon Chae-ok was first thrown out of it, for which his dad was waiting for. After a while, the commissioner's girlfriend comes out of the truck. He becomes happy to see her and hugs her. After it, Tae-sang's manager goes ahead with the truck, and the commissioner sends his own truck behind him, because he didn't want everyone to be alive except Yoon Chae-ok and his girlfriend. Tae-sang's manager already knew this. That's why he drives the truck speedily, and to see the truck, the lady in the bar points to a man. As she points, many rickshaws go ahead of the commissioner's truck. The commissioner's truck gets stuck, while the manager took the truck ahead. After a while, when the commissioner's people catch the manager's truck, no one is found from it, and the manager tells that there was no one in this truck except for Yoon Chae-ok and his girlfriend, while it is shown that all the people in the truck had gotten off at the ladies' bar. The assistant Nawal meets them and asks them to leave this city as soon as possible. The lady outside the bar was celebrating the release of these people from the Japanese captivity. Here, Lady Maida gets the news that today the commissioner will come home late. While on the other side, we are shown a scene of the hospital. The lieutenant is worried because they had mixed serum and najin in a glass of water, which was empty here. The soldier tells them that only 4 people have come here. Chae-ok, Tae-sang, the commissioner's girlfriend, and a soldier, meant that one of these 4 had drunk that water. No one knew who was going to turn into a monster. Lady Maida calls the hospital's doctor in charge and gets angry at him and says, "I gave you whatever you wanted. Such a big hospital, money for the experiment, but you couldn't do a single thing." The doctor apologizes to her, but Lady Maida says you should resign now. The doctor quickly shows her a report in which there were pictures of the monster. Seeing this, Lady Maida is silent for now, while on the other side, in the hospital, that monster was being tried to make unconscious by the nitrogen gas. And the lieutenant was in this thought that who will turn into a monster, and what destruction will be spread, and how will it be controlled. These people have run away from the hospital, and everyone will know their reality. It is shown that Tae-sang has also regained consciousness, and he is trying to leave from here. He is soaked in blood, and wherever he is touching his blood-stained hands, that place is getting dark, and this is not normal at all. The woman who had brought a sewing machine to Tae-sang's shop to find out about her son is returned a badge with her sewing machine, which she sees and understands that her son is dead. Here the scene cuts, and we are shown the commissioner's girlfriend. And a strange thing is moving in her face. This is Najin. The one who had taken serum and Najin water from the lieutenant's office was her. After a while, we see that Myungja, soaked in blood, has killed a man on the street brutally. She remembers some of her old memories, in which Lady Maida said that she is going to be the mother of the commissioner's son, so she will be kept in Gyeongseong Hospital so that she can take good care of her, but here she was tortured a lot. Lady Maida goes to the hospital to see the monster, but the lieutenant tells the doctor that such a woman is forbidden to come here. The doctor says to the lieutenant she is Lady Maida, and because of whom this hospital and experiment is going on. When Lady Maida goes near the monster and calls her by her name, she was about to attack her, but she stops after seeing her face. When the commissioner wakes up in the middle of the night, he does not see Myungja with him. Here it is shown that Tae-sang has come to a room where there were soldiers' uniforms. He wears a uniform, and here he sees Lady Maida. Getting a chance, he talks to Lady Maida and asks her to help him. Lady Maida comes out of the room with him. As soon as he sits in the car, Tae-sang was unconscious because of the wounds. Chae-ok was sitting in front of Tae-sang's shop and was waiting for him. Her dad makes her understand that maybe he will never come here, and here she tells her dad that she saw her mom in the hospital and she has turned into a monster. When Tae-sang wakes up, Lady Maida was in front of him saying, "You shouldn't have done what you did in the hospital. You shouldn't have put your life in danger for others." Tae-sang's assistant was getting calls from time to time, and it was being told that false news about Tae-sang's death. She starts weeping, but then Tae-sang comes, and seeing him, she becomes happy. Tae-sang goes to the police station immediately. Here all the people were kept who were found celebrating the Koreans' release. Tae-sang says, "I want to meet the commissioner," where the commissioner was asking him about the Korean people he had released from prison. He did not tell him anything about them. The commissioner tells Tae-sang that his girlfriend's condition is getting worse. Day by day, she has even killed her maid in such a bad way that there is a hole in her eye. It means that she ate her brain. Tell me what is going on there, and what happened to her. Such a big secret Tae-sang was not going to tell him for free. He gets all the people of his city released and leaves. The commissioner again tells the same police officer to keep an eye on Tae-sang, who had done this before. When Tae-sang came to meet Chae-ok considers him her enemy. Before Chae-ok kills him, she gets shocked to see his face. He was still alive. Tears had come out of her eyes. They both hug each other because now they both love each other very much. The commissioner now goes to Lady Maida and asks her what is going on in the hospital. But Lady Maida also refuses to tell him anything and says, "You have something to do with that girl. I don't care about this. But yes, remember, our marriage is a compromise. I just wanted to come to Korea, that's why I married you, and you needed a background of a big family, that's why you married me. But I have a problem that a small woman is going to be the mother of your child." The commissioner says, "Okay, I also know why you came here, the one you are after. He loves someone else. Tae-sang actually loves Chae-ok." Saying this, the commissioner did not stop, but left. Lady Maida now goes to the hospital to meet the lieutenant. She asks him about the experiments, and the lieutenant says humans are turning into monsters, only because of a small creature, Najin, which found in the middle of the snowy mountains. This creature goes into the human brain and controls it and turns it into a monster, just like Chae-ok's mom. After which the creature attacks humans and eats their brains. Myungja was doing the same in the city. She attacked a police officer who was told by the commissioner to keep an eye on Tae-sang. To save himself, when the police officer shoots at her, Tae-sang and Chae-ok, standing nearby, hears this sound and immediately comes here. Seeing the situation here, Tae-sang shoots an explosive in the air, which makes the commissioner and all the police officers alert. Everyone knew about Myungja's presence here. To catch Myungja, the police were now chasing her, and she was running ahead saying, "Don't kill me, I want to live." She comes to the forest, and that's when the commissioner's car stops in front of her. The commissioner asks her, "Why did you kill so many people? What's going on inside you? And what do you think?" After killing so many people, I will accept your child? Not at all. Myungja gets angry and she attacks the commissioner and kills him. The commissioner was not completely dead yet. He was taken to the hospital. On the other hand, the lieutenant tells Lady Maida that these monsters are very intelligent, and it has also been seen that they have emotions because the monster was not able to kill her daughter, Chae-ok. As she hears the name, Lady Maida understands that she is the same girl whom Tae-sang likes. She says to the lieutenant, I will help you get in charge of this hospital. Also, you continue your experiments. All you have to do for me is to train this creature so that it always listens to me. When Chae-ok comes to her house, she does not find her father, but gets a letter in which it was written that he is going to the hospital to meet his wife. Outside the hospital, Chae-ok's dad tells everyone that the woman who was experimented on and turned into a monster is my wife. As he heard this, he was brought in front of the lieutenant. He is shown the monster, and seeing his wife turned into a monster, he gets so angry that he attacks the lieutenant. This monster was not in control at all. The lieutenant now orders his people to bring Chae-ok here so that this monster comes into control. At the same hospital where the commissioner was being treated at the behest of Lady Maida, the doctor gives him a poison injection and kills him. Tae-sang brings Chae-ok to the room, where he used to keep people's valuables. He puts a bracelet on her and says nothing will happen to him. After which we are shown the commissioner's funeral next scene, in which the doctor in charge of Gyeongseong Hospital also came, where Chae-ok shoots the doctor and takes revenge from him for turning her mother into a monster. While in the jail, the monster was so out of control that he broke all the jails. Here Tae-sang was meeting his friend, Yoon Chae-ok. Yoon Chae-ok used to work for the freedom of South Korea. He had a bomb with him with which they wanted to kill the Japanese. Tae-sang asks him for the bomb and says, I want to blow up the hospital with that bomb. Before he says anything else, a lady comes and says, Chae-ok has killed the doctor, but after coming here, he does not find Chae-ok. He meets the police officer who had been spying on Chae-ok for a long time and on whom Myungja had also attacked. He says after the doctor's murder, when Chae-ok was caught, she suddenly disappeared. To catch Chae-ok, Tae-sang's house is also raided. Seeing this, his servant gets nervous and calls a Japanese man and says, you had promised me that you will get me out of here, but the Japanese man very easily hangs up the phone. Tae-sang's manager heard all this, and he understood that his friend was cheating him, while on the other hand, the lieutenant believed that the monster creature is out of control because of hunger, and now he wants food, but they have no prisoner to serve him as food. Chae-ok's father is released from the jail, and after getting out of the jail, he starts killing all these people with a gun. After it, the scene cuts, and we are shown that Lady Maida has come to meet Tae-sang. Here her assistant Nawal was also there. She asks Tae-sang whether it would be right to trust her. Tae-sang says yes, she is my family. She says to Tae-sang, the one you are looking for will not find you because she is dead. Tae-sang asks her that you are talking about Chae. Okay, what happened to her? Lady Maida again says it would be better that you don't find her again. She is dead. Tae-sang says to her in anger, whatever you say, my heart doesn't listen and I will look for her. After hearing all this, Lady Maida becomes sad. She leaves from there and says to Tae-sang, I am the only one who wants your well-being. None of the people you consider your family are with you. Being tortured a bit, your manager was ready to tell your truth, and your assistant Nawal told Japanese about your mother, and your servant wants to go to Japan. After knowing the truth, all three of them were ashamed of Tae-sang. Tae-sang says, I already know these things, and they did it because they wanted to stay alive, just like I want to stay alive, as my mother said. Assistant Nawal starts crying and asks, when did you come to know about me? Tae-sang says, from the day you were thrown out of jail, and when I asked you about my mother. Actually, the Japanese tortured Nawal, and even though she didn't want to, she had to tell them about people like her. The scene cuts, and we are shown that Lady Maida had arrested Chae-ok and taken Cheong to Cheong's hospital so that she could be made a monster and could leave Tae-sang and her life. Here at home, everyone was apologizing to Tae-sang, and Tae-sang's servant says to Tae-sang that even though you don't trust me, but I am still with you, and I know where Chae-ok is. Now, Tae-sang meets his friend Yoon Chae-ok and leaves for the hospital taking bombs. Someone drops a rickshaw outside the hospital, which distracts the soldiers, and Tae-sang goes inside the hospital. After a while, the rickshaw had blasted, and the monster inside was beating everyone up. To control the monster, the lieutenant kept his daughter Chae-ok at gunpoint. Chae-ok's dad was still hiding in the vent. Tae-sang comes to the vent, and they point guns at each other but let their guns go while seeing each other. Tae-sang gives them tickets and asks to leave while saving his daughter, but Chae-ok's dad says no, my life is ruined, my partner is also gone. Your life has just begun, you are still young, just take care of my daughter. They finally leave for their mission. Leaving Chae-ok, the lieutenant comes to their lab to take something, and the monster reaches here. While on the other side, Tae-sang had saved Chae-ok, he shoots the soldiers and was trying to save Chae-ok. Chae-ok's dad sees the monster, he hangs his locket in front of the monster, which reminds the monster of everything. The monster, which was not in control, comes in control. And now Chae-ok's dad comes in front of him and says, we should leave. As he says this, bombs started exploding. This bomb was planted by him and Tae-sang. Because of the explosion, there was chaos, and Tae-sang takes advantage of this and runs away with Chae-ok. We couldn't see the monster burning anywhere in this destruction. After coming out of the hospital, Chae-ok says to Tae-sang, I don't want to stay with you anymore because I have killed the doctor, and the police is after me. They will catch me anytime, and you will also be in danger. Tae-sang says, trust me, I will save you. In this scene, we see a broken wall of the hospital, which means the monster has run away, and is roaming freely in the city. The place where Tae-sang and Chae-ok were, his servant brings a bag filled with jewelry and money taking it. They were planning to go away from the city, but there were many people surround them. They were Lady Maeda's people. Now Lady Maeda leaves the car and says to Tae-sang, if you wanted to save Chae, okay, you could have saved her. But why did you destroy the hospital? Tae-sang asks her, were the experiments right you were doing there? Lady Maeda doesn't answer and says I was about to like you, but Chae-ok took you. And before this, I had a friend whom I liked that was taken my Chae-ok's mom. Saying this, she leaves and her goons start attacking them. Before the goons kill them, the creature enters to save her daughter and kills all the goons. In this fight, she lost one of her hands. She also considers Tae-sang evil, and before she killed Tae-sang to save him, Chae-ok comes in front and says, Mom, I love this human. Chae-ok was badly injured because of this attack and dies soon. In the morning, Lady Maeda was with many people in a church when she gets a letter, and it was written the last meeting. She turns back and sees there was Tae-sang's manager, but this place blasts when he left. After it, the scene of the destroyed hospital is shown where the commissioner's girlfriend and the lieutenant were in a room. The next day, everyone was praising Tae-sang in the bar because he ended huge Japanese personalities in a blast. But now Tae-sang was back to his old self. He says he is not a patriot, nor did he do anything for the country. He goes in front of his shop. He was sitting there sad as if he was waiting for someone. The scene cuts, and Chae-ok and the monster are shown in the water. Chae-ok was dead, and the monster took Najin out and put her inside. Chae-ok, which revives Chae-ok, and the monster dies.